Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So if you haven't been here before, my name is Michelle Townsend. I do videos on like autism and family life, and I'm doing a mini series that I've just kind of decided on like a dyslexic, being like a dyslexic myself. I found that doing like a playlist of some videos may help some people, may give you a greater understanding of a condition such as dyslexia. So you may have seen the video um, of kind of like famous people who are dyslexic. So I really want to kind of do this like more specific like a video. What is dyslexia? What are the signs of it? Um, how do you get the diagnosis? And also like a management. And we may have to split this into those kind of like titles and put them into the playlist. So I'm dyslexic. I was diagnosed when I was 29 years old. I probably would have been like a diagnosed sooner. However, I had a speech impairment when I was a child, and that was the main disability that they wanted to help me with because I used to stutter and stuff like that. I couldn't get my sounds out. What was it? It was a nightmare. I used to have to pretend to like say yeah like out. So my mum would say, "Oh, so what do you have for pudding today?" And I was like, "Jam roly poly," but it would be like J poly, and so I used to have to get the jam in and do a roly poly. Um, Very clever, in a way. Um, Using my kind of like initiative at like a 5 years old to kind of say that, but like anything to communicate to my parents because what was it? I love them so much. So, what is a dyslexia? What? No, dyslexia like is a common learning like a disability, common learning difficulty. Interesting wording. Depending on where you are, I suppose. So this is on the National Health website in the UK. There's other kind of terminology, but we use learning difficulty or um, nowadays it's kind of like additional needs. But the most common one that I know and we have used in the past is a specific learning difficulty, and that because dyslexia is a specific learning difficulty. Okay, so which it says here, it is a specific learning difficulty, which means it causes problems in certain like abilities to use learning, such as reading and writing. Unlike a learning disability, intelligence is not affected. Mm. That really was it. Is no, I'm not even going to go there. Because I know people with learning difficulties, who have a disability, who intelligence is high. So that terminology, that terminology is it doesn't sit well with me. And this is on what is it? And if I look tired, it's because I am tired. It's probably about it is 11:30 at night. It's the only time I can do a video or videos. Is at night because I got my son at home this week. So it's like estimated like up to one in every 10 people in the UK has some degree of dyslexia. And many, what was it, have not been kind of diagnosed. That's the thing. I wasn't like a diagnosed until I was 29 years old. So yeah, what do you think about that then? Um, so, so dyslexia is a long life problem. This is the National Health website that can present challenges on daily basis, but support is available to improve reading and writing skills and help those with the problems to be successful at school and work. Okay, so dyslexia, it can affect you every day. I mean, my dyslexia is not as bad as some other people with the condition, um, because I basically when I was a kid, um, was I had really like severe like a dyslexia. I mean, really severe. I couldn't read or write, and then I found that I could read some basic words and that, but I was always behind, always behind. Um, but then I found that actually was it I had a very good memory, and so I used to remember words, and people like my teachers like, you don't know how to spell that word, especially at like my mainstream school. It's like, you don't know how to spell that word. So, like, I sound it out to me. I can't miss because I got a speech impairment. No, duh. Um, but to be honest with you, like back then, the teachers at the mainstream school, they wasn't taught about like special needs like kids and that. I mean, I was no was I my main kind of disability was my speech impairment, which they knew about, but they didn't know about my dyslexia. So they just thought I was lazy, and I wasn't. I had dyslexia. So I don't like the word problem here, but that's just me being picky. But yes, it can be like a problem, dyslexia, because when you go shopping or you're filling in a like application form or something like that, it can be a issue. But there are coping ways that you can deal with it. There are help if you want it, and that's like another thing. You need to want the help. Yeah, you need to want to read and write and spell. Yeah, because if you don't, or if you got, what was it, this thing of being ashamed because you are dyslexic, then nothing is going to improve. You need to want to do it. I'm going to put the candle back down because my arm's aching. I'm also reading from like off the iPad, guys, so please bear with me because what tends to happen is my brain can't cope with too many things at once. So what are the signs of dyslexia? Okay. Um so what are the signs of dyslexia? Um so this is a very interesting one. Sorry guys, I'm not very sure about the camera angle. I think that's better. I'm looking into what was it? Um the camera. Okay, signs of dyslexia usually become apparent when the child starts. So, really? Okay. And begins to focus more on learning how to read and write. So this is what Rebecca's going through at the moment. She's learning to read and write. Darren's helping her. The teacher said that she's doing really well, so thumbs up for her. A person with dyslexia may read and write very slow. Yeah, sure. I read very slow. My writing, well, I don't write slow. I may if I don't know how to spell a word or something, but yeah, I mean, it takes me a long time to read a book because half the time I'm reading like every single word. Um, and I actually find that if I do that, I understand like the story or like the information much more better rather than just simming. So just going okay, which I'm doing here, by the way. So and they get confused, um the order of letters in words. This is interesting. I never actually got this. But yeah, some people, the order of kind of words, I would imagine it's when you're trying to spell something and you spell it like backwards. Never really done that. Put letters the wrong way round, such as B instead of D. Again, was it? That's not something that I would personally have a difficulty with. Maybe when I was a child, but not now. Have poor or inconsistent spelling. This is very much me. My spelling is rubbish. Um, I mean, my probably descriptions, if you look, probably got spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes, like as well. But I try my best to do my best. And no, what I want to produce videos. This is why I started a YouTube new channel, because I wanted to do videos um, rather than a blog about like stuff. Like, I did have a blog, and I still do have blogs floating in the internet space, but I haven't done one for such a long time. Anyway, let's get back on track. Understand information when told verbally, but have difficulty with information that written down. Again, this is interesting because um, sometimes when a person may say something, say verbally, um, was it? I do understand very well, you know. However, what was it? It depends on say what it is. So like for like example, today I went around with like my husband and my son. My husband had some quotes to do, and he said a postcode, and he told me if very clearly what the postcode was. And my I was trying to do it, and I hate it when people speak fast and they're trying to like spell a word or tell me a postcode or like a number really fast, because my brain can't kind of like process it like quick enough, or it remembers them. It kind of get the numbers, but my hand doesn't like do the thing. It's really annoying. um so yeah, I can kind of like understand that. What was it? Understand information when told verbally. Yes. What was it? Definitely. But like sometimes it's like the other way round, where like if I have to, like my husband has told me what the postcode is, but I can't remember it, and it might be 2 seconds, and I was like, what's that? Find it hard to carry out sequence of directions. So yeah, long directions is not my kind of good point. Struggle with planning and organization. See, dyslexia is more than just reading and writing and spelling. See? So, but people with dyslexia like often have good skills in other areas, such as being a creative with their minds and problem solving. So this is pretty good. Right, I've gone on to something else. I do apologize. Okay, so getting help. Where's the okay? Was it so getting help? Like how do you get help? Um, see how I got help was my like a boss like sent me to like English like lessons, and they actually found out that I was a dyslexia. Well, dyslexic. See, so if you think that this is aiming at like kids, but like if you are a adult and you think that you are dyslexic, because look, like many people find out when they like later on in life that, oh, the problem that I had at school, oh, I still have it now. I can't read this word. I can't spell that word. I'm awful at this, but I'm very good at this. And so they may go on for years and years and years without being like a diagnosed. And it's really important that you get that diagnosis so you can get the help that you need. Um, so yeah, let's talk about getting help. So if your child or you um may have dyslexia, the first step is to talk to the teacher, um, or their special needs education needs a coordinator, Senko. So like if you are like a parent and if you think your child may have a dyslexia or then talk to them. Um, Plus, also, they will probably notice anyway, and they may actually approach you about your child because nowadays teachers are very kind of good at that. But like, if you are worried, then yeah, talk. And if you are as a probably over like say 16 and not in education, and don't have access to kind of like teachers and that, then speak to like your GP, um, because they can point you in the right direction. Okay, so it says here they may be able to like say offer your child additional support. So Rebecca has like additional support because she has global development delay. And so if your child continues to have a problem despite extra support, or you or the school may want to consider requesting a more in-depth assessment from a specialist um, dyslexia teacher or an educational psychologist. Okay. So this can be arranged through the school, and you can request a private assessment. So the educational psychologist directly, you can find the chartered psychologist on the British Psychology Society website, and there's also a you can also go to your local dyslexia association as well, which is cool. Now, like adults who may wish to be assessed, should contact their local or national dyslexia association. But like I said, I would also speak to your GP. Um, Okay, so support. How do you get like a support, like for your child and that? So basically, if your child is in like as a school and that, then the school will help you with this process. With appropriate support, the usual no reason why your child can't go to a mainstream school, although a small number of children may benefit from attending a special needs school, such as me. And I turned out to be okay, by the way. Um, I went on to college, had was a running my own businesses and stuff like that. So hey, is being dyslexic is not all that bad. Look at Richard Branson. Okay, so techniques and support that may help your child. Okay, so occasional one-to-one time with the teacher and lessons in small groups, like a phonics, a special learning technique that focuses on improving the ability to identify and process small sounds that make up words. And this is what Rebecca is learning at the moment. So it's really good that like everyone like in her school is actually using this process of like phonics and that. So that's really good. Technology. I love technology. Absolutely love technology. You can get computers with speech that emphasizes your kind of like a voice. So you can get that kind of software. You can use mobile phones. They've got like microphones and stuff like that. I I always use my microphone. Always. I usually tap on it and say dyslexia, and it will come up because being dyslexic, I don't really use it a lot in my everyday life. So it's a word that my brain doesn't pick up. I know it's got a D and a Y and an L and an X and at the end it's got a, but in between I'm not too sure. So I'm always using the the microphone in my phone to say dyslexia and it will come up. Now autism, on the other hand, I know how to spell like off by heart because I'm always using it and stuff. Um, yeah. Anyway, going off kind of track, universities, they also have a special like a staff and electronic organizers and computers, and you can get like a funding as well. Employers are required to make reasonable adjustments, so it's really important that if you are at work, that you know, I get them adjustments made. Like I'm going to talk about what was it like applications and stuff because like when I used to fill them in like by paper, like now it's all by computer. Um, and it said about disability. Sometimes I would say that I like my dyslexia, and sometimes I wouldn't even get like um not even a job interview, which was so like imbalancing. But then I just thought, you know what? I can't be bothered to put that, so I didn't. And guess what? I got interviews. But that's not to say that it's right to do that because it's not. And I think if I was to do it now, I would put, yes, I have dyslexia, but it's not that bad. I can still, I do the job at hand. And I think as long as you kind of like explain about your dyslexia, then it's going to be absolutely fine, especially if you go through to the interview and then they ask you about it. It's much more better to be like honest. Ah. So there are support groups out there, such as the British Dyslexia Association (BDA), and also your local ones as well. So a common question: what causes dyslexia? People with dyslexia find it difficult to recognize the different sounds that make up words to relate to these letters, and this is interesting because that's what I would kind of say. Yep, definitely. Sounds and letters is like, huh? What's this? Well, yes, this letter is a L, but no, kind of L. Um, Dyslexia isn't related to a personal general level of intelligence. Children and adults of all intelligence abilities can be affected by a dyslexia. The exact cause of dyslexia is unknown, but like often appears to run in the family. So yeah, I would say that dyslexia um, it may run in the family, and that so yeah, it's thought that certain genes inherited from your parents may be together in a way that affects on how some parts of the brain develops. Wow, I didn't know that. But then again, saying that, it's interesting on how we kind of we are seeing like even with autism and that it is the genes, it's a genetic and that. So I think we have like covered everything. um so how can it says here I've gone into the management side of this. While dyslexia is a long life problem, there is a range of specialist education innovations that can help your child. So like early like intervention is really important, I think. But it's hard to diagnose when your child is very young. But I would say that like if education can help, like your schools and that can help, then that's gonna be a really like a good like step. So the younger the kids are getting the this diagnosis, the better. So it says a number of education interventions and programs are available for children with dyslexia. These can range from like regular teaching in small groups with learning support assistants who deliver work set by the teacher, like a staff. So like a one-to-one uh, lesson with a specialist and a teacher as well. Most interventions focus on again, it's a phonic skills, which is ability to identify the words, sounds that these interventions are like often referred to as phonics. So again, this is really interesting for me because like I was thinking to myself, well, no, I'm not going to be able to do the phonics, but maybe was it Darren should be going through the cards with me so I can actually learn things and help Rebecca as well. So reading this and talking to you guys is a really like interesting learning curve. Like a phonics information can involve teaching a child to, okay, one, recognize and identifies sounds in spoken words, for example, helping recognize that even short words such as hat are actually made up with three sounds: h, at, and t. Combine letters to create words over time. Use the words to create more complex sentences. Interesting. Okay. Practice reading words like accurately to help them read more quickly. Monitor their own understanding while they read, for example, by encouraging them to ask questions if they notice gaps in the understanding. See, this is a whole learning curve to me. I've actually got a workshop about phonics, and I wasn't too sure about it, but I'm now really excited. The information, the like interventions should um, ideally be delivered in a highly structured way with development in small steps. Yeah, and should involve regular practicing what has been learned. So, like, basically with Rebecca, she's learning like a phonics like in school, like every single day, and she's got like a pack and like basically she's going through this. I'll show you in my next video um because I think I'm gonna probably do some more talks on this. um so um if your child, what it says here, um it can also help like if your child is taught in a multi-sensory way where they use several senses at the time. Interesting. Interesting that they are saying multi-sensory way. I wonder what that means. Okay, for example, an example of a multi-sensory teaching is where a child is taught to see the letter A. So actually seeing the letter A, so like A like app for apple, says its name and sound and write it in the air. So it would be like A. So what is it? So like you would say the sound says its name. So like A, then like A, and then write it in like the air. So that's quite an interesting way, and it's a good example. Okay, pause this. So we nearly finished now. So how can you help your child? Like as a parent, you might be unsure about how best to help your child. So read to your child, which I do, and also Darren does. Share the reading. So uh, uh, both read some of the book and discuss what's happening. Well, this is what Rebecca and I do. I will read her the book. Depending on the book, Like what I normally do is I read a book. She will get a new book like each week, and I'm quite keen on reading to her. It helps me, it helps her. And I do was I actually read word to word, and and if I don't know the word, I will sip that word, but I will then ask like, Darren, what is this? And then next time I will remember that word. Um, Overlearning. You may get bored of reading your child's favourites book over and over, but repetition will enforce their understanding and means that they will be familiar with the text, which we have. We have lots of books for Rebecca, and I feel reading some of the more complicated books. Once you read it over and over and over again, you do actually pick it up. So silent reading. This is nowhere. So we're talking about being dyslexic here. So silent reading. Children also need a chance to read alone to encourage their independence. And I would say, like as a adult, you need to do this as well. Make reading fun. We definitely do that. Technology for older children. So there are technology like out there. Older children with dyslexia may feel more comfortable working with a computer rather than a like exercise book. This may be because the computer uses a visual environments that are better suited in the method of learning. So we haven't even talked about the style of learnings here, but yeah, depending on what is it your style of learning, I would say that would depends. Word processing programs, lots of things on the web as well. Speech recognition, we said about that. And then it goes into like adults as well, which is more or less what is in the children's one. So about technology, about organizing daily activities, about using multisensory approaches to learning. For example, you could use a digital recorder to record a lecture and then listen to it as you read your notes. So that's what I used to do. It can also be useful to break large tasks and activities down into smaller steps. Again, I do that. If you need to draw up a plan or make notes about certain topics, you can find useful to create a mind map. If you don't know what a mind map is, I'll do a video on that rather than writing it down. Basically, you can, if you basically draw like a circle, you can write in it or like a draw in it or do whatever, and then you have little other boxes around, and you just basically put in like your ideas and stuff, and then it can formulate a I do it for videos. I do it for like if I was doing a assignment or something. And it kind of gets all my like ideas and that like out on paper, and then I can then later do the whole like English approach and stuff like that. Adjustment at work. Basically, your boss has to be reasonable and make adjustments. It's actually law. So providing you with he or she needs to provide you with assistant with technology, so like a digital recorder or something that is going to make your life easier, giving you instructions, say verbally rather than in like a writing, allowing you extra time for tasks and fine. So if you find a task really hard, if it's they expect you to do it really quick, they need to make an adjustment for you so you have longer to do that. And that's the same with like exams, by the way. And provide you with information in formats you can like access. So what we haven't talked about, because this video is going on rather long now, is we haven't talked about some people with dyslexia will use different, say, paper, different colours on their computer. They may wear glasses that, they may have different colours and that. So there's lots of things that can help people with dyslexia. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Like I say, I will do more. I made this, I was going to cut this into about 3 or 4 parts, but if you have enjoyed this, then thank you. I think what I will do is that I will leave this on here, and I may do another video at some point about dyslexia, like if you want, but if not, then we'll leave it here. Some people may have dyslexia, they may have then like a general learning disability, or they may have autism, ADHD, dyspraxia, ADHD, like ADD. There's a list can go on. So we'll probably will cover some of those in a few weeks, and that I'm trying to do some different kind of content for you guys. Anyway, it's midnight and I'm absolutely knackered, so thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.